like a star, a star, a star, a star, like a star, a star, a star, a star, like a star, a star, a star, a star, like a star, a star, a star, a star, like a star, a star, a star, a star, like a star.
YouTube, this is Okurtis here once again, reporting live from sunny Costa Rica. I was thinking this morning, what is the best advice I can give to a new language learner? Um, the goal of language learning is to understand and to be understood. That's the basic formula for learning a language. And what one has to remember in learning any language is you must you must put in hard work. You must put in the hours that it takes to learn a language. There's no such thing as a lazy learner. You might interpret it as you being lazy, but that just means you'll have to put in more time to actually learn the language. Now I love those people who say, um, well, you can actually learn it easy, or it won't take much of your effort and time. But we all know that wrong. It'll just take you more time if you go by those routes to achieving your dreams in language learning. Well, all right. So I was at a university a few days ago, and I was talking to some of the students there, and they wanted to become English, want to become English teachers, right? But they were native speakers of Spanish. So I sat in one of their classes. One of the professors invited me. He spoke English fluently, and he invited me to sit in the class and just talk with the students and give them practice learning the language. So I was there and I was sitting there and I was thinking to myself, wow, these students have the same hiccups and setbacks and drawbacks as I had when I was first learning Spanish. The thing is, they're not in an environment where they speak the language every day. So it's very easy for them to relapse and actually go back in their sad ways and say, thinking of mine, well, I don't have to do this or whatever. But the thing is, they want to be English teachers. And that's not the attitude to have when you want to actually speak a language and actually teach a language that is not native to you. So I gave them some advice and I told them, look, you have to create an environment that promotes language learning. You have to immerse yourself in the language every single day. And for them, it's even harder because they'll have to be teaching people, non-native speakers of the language, how to speak the language correctly. And if they don't do it correctly, then that would leave those that they're teaching at a disadvantage. So for me, I told them, look, listen to music. And just listen to any music. Listen to music that you like. If you don't like it, just turn it off. It won't motivate you to continue learning the language. If you and I told them, if you want to watch a movie, don't turn on the subtitles in Spanish. Watch the entire movie in English, and if the subtitles can be turned into English, do that as well, so you can read along as you watch. And I told them you have to read a lot. You have to you have to create an environment whereas the language becomes real to you. And that's what I've been trying to do for the last month, actually studying in Costa Rica. I created an environment where I totally speak the language every day. I listen to the language every day. I watch the language on television every day. I read every day in the language. So it has helped me a lot. It has helped me to be able to communicate better with my friends and with the family I'm staying with, and it also helps me to gain confidence that I can actually speak the language. So, what I want to advise to anyone beginning a language, don't believe the hype when people say that you can actually learn it easily or it's going to be an easy process. It's not. It can become a fun process, but you have to put in the time and the effort. You have to put the work in. You can't just go about this in a haphazard manner in a nonchalant manner. You have to put in the hard work. Uh, and to be real with you, to be honest with you, it's gonna take effort. So if if you wanna continue learning the language, you have to have a consistent effort. You have to put in the time every day, at least for an hour a day. An hour probably won't hurt anyone. If you realize that we have 24 hours in a day, you sleep a third of the time, 8 hours. So you actually only have about what 14 hours, 14 hours left. There's 16 hours left in the day. So with that 16 hours, you can actually only do so much, right? But if you actually set a time aside every day that you could actually work on language learning, you'll actually become better because every day you progress in the language, right? So I think about it as people who are like into exercising and working out and becoming better physically, right? They do it every day, and after a while, the endorphins in the brain kicks in, whereas it becomes fun. It doesn't become a chore anymore. After doing it for 2 to 3 weeks, it becomes a natural process. Whereas they want to do it every day, they want to fulfill their dreams, their goals. They want to achieve something, right? And sometimes they do it subconsciously because of the the chemicals in their brain, um, not making it as effortful as it is. Um, Effortful. I don't know if that's a word, but I used it, so it became a word just now. So, um, yeah. So the thing is, you wanna keep it consistent, and even if you just do a little every day, if you do what 20 minutes, 20 minutes every day, 30 minutes every day, probably just wanna read in the language, probably just wanna watch your favorite television show in the language, probably just wanna work on some grammar, um, wanna work on a specific aspect of the language. Do it every day, because it'll make a difference in the long run. And all the time you're wasting trying to figure out what's the best method, what's the best uh, resource you can use to learn language. That isn't as much important as it is actually doing it. Because as the saying goes, we learn by doing. So it actually helps if you actually put in the time and the effort into the language. But I wanna like now I just wanna put the stigma aside that you know it can be an effortless process. Maybe for a third, fourth, fifth, sixth, and seventh language, it'll be a little more easier. But with your first, second language, you have to work hard. And the reason you have to work hard is because you actually, with the first language, you're actually building up capacity within yourself to actually learn more languages. So if you can learn that first language, that the first, second language to a good enough level that you can actually converse in it, you can actually understand and be understood, uh, then the process becomes much more easier to learn other languages. And I envy people who actually grow up in an environment that's bilingual, because that means they actually have the ability, have the capacity to learn other languages far easier. And I've seen it in a couple of my friends. They grew up in a Haitian Creole speaking background, but they actually grew up learning English. And when they spoke no Spanish, when they went to Cuba, they became fluent in Spanish within, I'd say, a year. Fluent. I mean, a year is a lot, you know. I don't know exactly the timeline, but they became fluent in the language, and they actually are to a level whereas they can converse with anyone fluently. They sound native and everything. And the same Bahamians ran over and in the same program, and they don't speak on the same level, because I have a actually cousin who went over there. She speaks well, but I don't think she speaks on the same level as them. Maybe it's more about motivation than it is about actual your capacity, but I think capacity has a lot to do with it as well. So your first second language, you have to work on it intensely. You have to make it a part of your being, you know. So yeah, that's my motivation for today. Signing out.